which one okay doesn't seem to work. Thank you. Okay, class, we push on. Class, the next practice is on confidence interval hypothesis testing and ANOVA test. Okay, so class, this one typically will appear in question 3 of your exam. Typically, okay. Typically, again, part A will be confidence interval question. Part B will be hypothesis question. Okay, class, you no need to plot any statistical result. It will be given to you 99.9% of the time. It will give to you. So class, you have to identify confidence interval. Okay, that's one. So this is the question. Class, in exam, you'll be by right you'll be given this. By right, okay. Class, this is your okay. This is ASUS and PA. We read this up. ASUS Insurance established motor insurance company in Singapore. Mr. Tan, CEO, conducted average claim seems to be higher than the others. ASUS seems to be hardest. Class, when you look at this question, ASUS is 2,500. This is 1,700. Even just compare side by side, it seems like a lot higher. You just take a look. Intuitively, it's so much higher already. As such, compound the claim amount 28. Recent motor insurance company, he managed to obtain similar information. Okay. Anywhere in the question says that it is normally distributed. Don't have Do you see that? I don't see that. So normally a good question will usually say that in the question. Okay. Because confidence interval, what is the assumption of confidence interval? It is normally distributed. Okay, you can use that. Okay, so construct 95% confidence. Okay, for the mean claim based on data. Do you think Mr. Tan's suspicion is reasonable? Class, in exam you are given this. Okay, this no need to calculate again. There is a chance it will not give you this. Okay, then you need to use the formula. Later we try one question. We add a supplementary question. Okay, using the formula. That's it. Okay, so class, this is given. Okay, so no need to calculate. Class, again, isolated case in exam. Previous exam, I saw people. This is given. He don't use this. He go and calculate manually. Then manually wrong. The answer. I mean in okay, this is called a bit gay kiam. Don't do that. In exam, don't do that. It's given, just use this. But in exam, sometimes they don't give you this, then you need to calculate manually. Look at the question. If it's not given this, then they will need to give you something else, which is the population standard deviation. Okay, that's why how we calculate. Later we do it. Class, okay, you are given this. Okay, actually this is quite straightforward. Okay, class, but you need to do that. Class, can you give you 8 minutes to do it? Okay, class, can you calculate the confidence interval for ASUS or even for EA? Because the confidence level are given. Okay, class, share with you again. Remember the empirical rule. Empirical rule, if you remember, at the center here is the mean. Okay, empirical rule is within minus 2 standard deviation and plus 2 standard deviation is 95% confident. Okay, 95% confident. So this is a very good estimate. Okay, even if the question don't tell you 95, we will use 95. Again, most of the time they will tell you use 95. Okay, if they don't tell you, don't use. If they don't tell you about using 95, 98, 99, use 95. But most of the time they will tell you this. Okay, if not, they will tell you use 99 or 90. Okay, why? Because 95 is a good estimate, confident within 2 standard deviation. Statistically, it is significant. Okay, class, can you look at this? Can you calculate the confidence interval for this, and can you interpret is ASUS greater than EA? Okay, confidence interval. Okay, confidence interval is an estimate. Okay, is an estimate. Class, this is the attendance. Today is 26th of March. Can you mark your attendance? 26th of March. If you come on 12th, which is 2 weeks ago, I cancel it. You come, please mark, please sign over it. Okay, because you don't sign, I just cancel it. Okay, so please sign today. And is it 2 weeks ago? 2 weeks, right? Okay, can you sign? Thank you. If you calculate the confidence interval for ASUS, later give me the answer. Thank you. Okay, class, let's do this together. Class, okay, this one I just do it quite clear. So class, the confidence interval for ASUS, so since this is given, okay, the mean is 2005.87, okay, we minus this one, right? Minus 160.23. So this is the lower limit. The upper limit will be 2557.87 plus 160.23. Okay, this is the upper limit. So basically, the mean minus and plus the confidence level. So this one will give you 2397.63 over 2718.09. Okay, so class, at least 2 decimal place. Okay, at least 2 decimal place for this example. Okay, so at 95% confident interval, okay, ASUS, okay, claim is between 2397.63 to 718.09. Okay, so class, this statement is a must. This statement is a must. Okay, so this statement 1 mark or 2 mark. Okay, so please do that, working as well. Okay, we do for the same. Okay, even though the answer is very clear, but we still do the confidence interval for PA. We do the same thing, class. So a little bit laborious, but you come out, this one is easy. So 1791.67 minus 123.40, 1791.67 plus 123.40. Class, okay, I didn't calculate this answer. What's the answer? Anyone calculate? What's this answer? 166.8. Okay, and 1915.07. Okay, class. So this is 95% confidence interval. PA is between this and this. Okay. So class, we always talk about it. Do they overlap? Do they overlap? No. So they don't overlap. Okay, because the largest is 1915 for PA. The largest for us, the smallest for ASUS, the smallest for ASUS is 23. It's still smaller than this, so they don't overlap. So, okay, so if they don't overlap, okay, so class, I think this one just for quite straightforward, but just for benefit everybody. So ASUS, okay, ASUS is from for example here to here. Okay, ASUS is here to here. For PA, okay, from here to here. So obviously they don't overlap. So we can conclude ASUS is greater than PA. Okay. So class, I think this one you already know. So what happens if the situation is like that? This one I said before already. So ASUS, what happens ASUS is from here to here. Okay, what happens PA is from here to here. Class, if ASUS is here, PA is here, can we claim that ASUS is greater than PA? Okay, first thing, do they overlap, class? Okay, this one, you give me the answer in GPA, right? Remember? So, is ASUS greater than PA? Can you say that? This one is your answer give to me one. Your GPA. Class, is ASUS greater than PA for this one? No. 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 Why? Because over here, there's an overlap. The overlap, they can be the same. Okay, if not, ASUS is greater than, PA is greater than ASUS at 95% confident. Because there's an overlap, we cannot be definitive sure ASUS is greater than PA because there is an overlap. Correct or wrong, class? 对吗？对吗？ Can? Class, this one is the answer. You need to meet your GPA. Can Okay. Hey class, this one must understand. So forward. Class, I ask again. Okay. So class, if this is ASUS, okay, if this is PA, class, can I say ASUS is greater than PA? No, how can it? If ASUS is here, PA is here, is there overlap, class? It's a total overlap. It cannot be greater, ASUS cannot be greater than PA. Can I say that ASUS is equal to PA? No, ASUS equal to PA. Can I say that? Cannot. I also cannot say. I cannot say. Class, I cannot say. All cannot say. So obviously, you cannot say. You need to do more testing to determine that. Can? Class. So can. So all the okay. Can. Okay. 可以吗？可以了。Yeah. Can. Okay. Okay, so this one must remember Okay. So say again Okay. When there's an overlap, you cannot say already. Okay, when there's overlap. Only when there's no overlap at 95 percentile, then we know that ASUS is greater than PA because there's no overlap. Can? Get it? Okay. Okay. Okay, so class, lower limit is this. So you have to put the statement here. The ASUS is 2397 to 2718. Okay, please put the actual number. Please define it. Marks are given for what? Marks are given for what? Marks are given for your working. Marks are given for this statement. Okay, so I will award marks for that. So, for example, 3 marks, I will award 1 mark for working, 2 marks for answer. Okay, or something like that. Okay, so class interpretation. Okay, for this case, they don't do the confidence interval for PA, but I will encourage you to do. You have to do that. Okay, for this answer, they don't. Okay, but you have to do it because there's no overlap. Okay, so for this, I don't think it's a good answer. You will have to do the PA confidence interval, said that there's no overlap. So there's no overlap, ASUS is greater than PA, confirmed, at 95% confidence interval. Clark? Okay. Okay, very scary. I want it to last lesson, don't spoil again. Okay, can Okay, so class, if you recall, so class, this is the formula, plus minus Z alpha over 2 standard deviation. Okay, so class, this is called the margin of error. Okay, so class, this formula is actually exactly the same thing. Okay, same thing. Okay, so in exam, you will be given this. Okay, if you are not given this, you should be given other things, like the population standard deviation. So let's do this quickly. So class, this is x bar, the mean, plus minus the z alpha divided by 2. Class, this is your z, at the center of z is always 0. Right? Alpha is 0.05, so half of it will be 0.025. Okay? And then this is a z alpha divided by 2, for this is z equal to 0.025. Okay? So class, what is this value Z equals 0.025 from there. Very clear, right? It is 1 point. It is 1 point what? 1.96, okay, it's 1.96. So this will be given to you. This one you have to, this is in your earlier slides. You no need to calculate. You will bring this. You will need to bring this in your exam. So 95%, 1.96. If it's 99%, it's 2.58. 99%, okay. 95% is 2 sigma. Okay, 99% is 3 sigma. 90% is 1 sigma. Okay, 1 sigma is 1 standard deviation. Okay, so class Z equal to 1.96. Okay. Okay, this is what you have. Okay. Class, this thing called the margin of error. Okay, this is so called the margin of error. Where is the margin of error? This is the margin of error. Okay, this is the margin of error. Okay, or margin of error, or the word called confidence level. Okay, this is the margin of error or the confidence level. It's the same thing. Okay. Okay, so class, can you calculate this one quickly? What is the confidence interval for ASUS if the population standard deviation is 414? Can you calculate quickly if you can? 2 minutes, if you can. Okay, we need to use the formula, that's all. Okay. We do it over here quickly. So we just use the formula x bar plus minus z standard deviation divided by square root n. So for this one, the confidence interval for ASUS, the x bar. So class, from here, what's the x bar class? So from here, the x bar is, the sample mean is 2557.86. Okay, so class plus minus your z. So what's your z value, class? 1.96. Okay, so class, what is your standard deviation, class? Standard deviation is, okay, what's the standard deviation? Oh yeah, from the question, sorry. Okay, the question say 414, sorry. The question say 414. Yeah, I just created just now. So it's 414. Okay, divide by square root n. N will be, is there n? Oops. Oh, there's n. The n is, what's your n, class? 28. Okay, 28. Okay, class, so this one will give you the confidence interval. Okay, manual calculation. Okay, so you need to use the formula. Okay, so both you're able to do it. Can? Yeah. I don't know, you all calculate, you all have the answer? I didn't have the answer. Anyone got the answer? Okay. So class, this one is just an additional question. Okay, but the only thing is we use this formula, that's it. So in situation like you're given this margin of error or confidence level, we just need to use this, that's it. So there are situations that they don't give you this. Okay, but then they need to give you population standard deviation. Then you need to use this formula, okay? Okay, so you will cover all angle for this, okay? Okay, Okay, so we go for next one, class. So class, this is the answer. I'll upload it immediately after this class. Okay, class, this is the, okay, so this is the question. Class, this is, I just again just copy and paste. Most of the time is 90, 95 and 99. Okay, I just put it here is in case they very rare, in case they very funny, say calculate 98, then you have to use this 98%, which is very impossible. I never see before. Okay, 90, 95 and 99. Because 90 empirical rule is 1 standard deviation, 95 is 2 standard deviation, 99 is 3 standard deviation. So this is the usually they ask you this. Okay, and I just give extra thing in case. Class hypothesis test. Class, there is also there are the independent and dependent sample. Okay, in the exam they can test you 1 sample or 2 sample. Most of the time is 2 sample, but there are instances they test you on 1 sample. In the seminar slide, you have 1 sample, you also have 2 sample. Take a look at them. Okay, so for this one, for 2 sample, for this is a 2 sample question. So hypothesis test is then also followed by ANOVA test, analysis of the variance. You did it for your GBA. It's an analysis of variance question as well. Okay, so class, Excel output may be provided. Okay, or hypothesis test using Z distribution. Okay. Will not be provided. Okay, Excel output will not be provided, or hypothesis test using Z distribution. Okay, we cover everything. Okay, for the Z, Excel output might not be provided, but okay, you have all the working, right? You know all the Z value. Okay, you have this. Okay, you know it. You need to. You can also calculate yourself. Okay, for the Z. This one is calculate the Z. Okay, you know all the Z value. You can use the formula. Okay, that's what it says, class. Okay, Excel output will be provided for all other things. Confidence interval. Okay, you say including confidence interval calculation. Okay, I believe they will give you just now that one. Okay, you should not need to calculate manually by right Okay, they will also give you Excel output for your T distribution, your T test and F test. Everything will give you Excel output. So you no need to calculate, tabulate, you just need to interpret the. Okay, you just need to interpret. Let me show you the example, class. Okay, class, this is the question. Continue with the case. Class, this will be given to you. Okay, class, from this one, the T test, 2 sample assuming equal variances. Class, you have no problem. So you no need to see is it equal variance or unequal variance, because all the output is given to you. Okay, so T test 2 sample assuming equal variances. So in the Excel you also can calculate. Sometimes you say assuming unequal variances. Sometimes they ask you that, but never mind. So this is the assumption that this is, but 99% of the time they will assume equal variances. Class, is this a put T test or is it a paired test? Put T test is an independent sample. Paired test is a dependent sample, right? They are paired. Is this an independent or paired? Okay, is this an independent or dependent sample? Independent, right? You remember independent. Okay, for dependent, there's a word called paired there. Paired means you pair together. Remember? Husband and wife paired together, before, after, paired together. Go to weight slimming, before, after, measure the weight, paired together. Husband and wife income level, paired together. This is paired, this is dependent, this is independent. Okay, why do you need to do that? Because you need to put in your 5 steps of hypothesis testing. Remember, you need to say that this is independent sample, assuming equal variance, and they are normally distributed. The assumption, please put your answer as what you did in your GBA. Okay, so class, in exam, you will be given this. So from straight away, you know this is they are independent sample. But you look at the case itself, they has to be independent. ASUS, where does it relate to PA? Totally not related. They are independent. That's why you use the put t-test. Okay, class, what's the difference between confidence interval and put t-test? Just a tricky question. Anyone can tell me? What's the difference between confidence interval and put t-test? The keyword between the put t-test is the keyword is put lah. Not a joke, but it's actually the difference is put because they pull together. Okay, it's not a joke, it's an actual answer. Because the put t-test, they put together the variances. They put together. So you look at the formula itself, they actually tie together one. Okay, they put together. In the confidence interval, they are calculated separately. Okay, so by right, if the assumption correct, sometimes the hypothesis test might be more accurate. Remember the confidence interval, are they put together or not, class? They are not. Put t-tests are put together. Standard deviation 1, standard deviation 2, they are put together. Okay, you look at the formula itself, you are not required to calculate, they are put together. Okay? Class, this is given to you. You must absolutely interpret this. Okay, so class, I'll continue with the case. Determine if the mean claim of ASUS is significantly higher than PA. Class, is this a one tail, two tail, or is it a one tail or two tail? Class, confident exam coming. Huh? One tail, yeah. Your GPA answer all tell me you know. Okay, okay, this is one tail huh? So class, is it right tail or left tail? Class, more than is right tail or left tail? Right tail, more than is right tail, less than is left tail. Okay, can you do the 5-step hypothesis now? I do it for you class. This question is, if you follow the steps, you will score all the marks. You follow me, can? You will score all the mark. Okay, you now confused, never mind. But as long as you can follow me, you will score all the mark. Can? Okay, I give you like 5 minutes. I don't give you a lot of time. But in fact, if you know how to do this one, 5 minutes will be able to. Okay? By right. Okay 8 minutes already. Okay, you have to come out the 5 steps of hypothesis testing. Okay, if you recall H0, H1. Okay, if you recall these 5 steps class, you are required to give the 5 steps in the exam. Every steps are given marks now. Can you do that for 5 steps? Okay, class, as a default decision rule, use the p-value method. That's it. Use the p-value method, which is the probability method. That is the best and safest method. Use the p-value method. Okay. Okay, class, I will show you, because I'm trying to show you more example, so that's why I don't give you a lot of time. The reason is actually I'll give you all scenarios, extra scenarios, in case they ask you. So I will show you the answer, I'll explain step by step. Sorry, I didn't give you a lot more time because I give you more things. Okay, so class, so this is the question, H0, H1. So H1 is the mean claim for ASUS, H2 is the mean claim for PA. So that's the question over there. Okay, so what are you testing? If the mean claim is higher than PA. So your claim is here. Okay, this is your claim, mu1 greater than mu2. Okay, so that is your H1. So if your mu1 greater than mu2, your H0, the null hypothesis will be mu1 less than equal to mu2. The equal sign is always on top. Okay, you also can write this way, no issue. Okay, you can write this way as well. Class defined properly. Okay, alpha, second step, equals 0.05 because that is in the question. Class, why do you know it's a put t-test? Because of the caption there, right? T-test 2 sample assuming equal variances. Okay, because of this, you have to put this statement. Marks are given for this statement. Use put t-test because they are independent samples. Because they are put t-test, population standard deviation are unknown but equal. Okay, so class, the p-value method. Class, this is the one tail. So this is the one tail is here. You have to look over here, class. Okay, this is your one tail. Okay, so the decision rule is always like that, right? Reject H0 if p-value less than alpha, 0.05. Class, what's your p-value? Your p-value, class, you must put your p-value in your answer. Okay, some students will say p-value less than alpha, but you don't put your p-value. You have to put your marks are given for your p-value. Okay, your p-value is 1.46 10 minus 10. Okay, so class, is this less than 0.05? Yes or no? Okay, those shake your head one, is no, must, this is very small number, class, is minus 10, or it's not the power of 10. This number, class, this number will never greater than 1, okay? Class, 10 times, 1.46 times 10, the power minus 10 is a very small number. So it is less than 0.05, okay? So we reject H0, okay, and accept which is H1 is true. H1 is true meaning that mu1 greater than mu2, meaning the ASUS is greater than PA. Can? This is the 5 step. Class, can? Don't make mistake here. You have to score every marks here. Can? Can? Okay? So class, we look at the question. This is a one tail, this is a right tail. They can also ask you differently. Class, okay, this one very clear, right? Can? Class, you need to score this, or can? Okay. So class, this is another question, class. Okay, so this is the answer, I'll upload it. Okay, mu1 greater than mu2, the claim, please define properly. Class, you can draw this, or you don't want to draw this also can. Class, unless they tell you to draw, although we no need to draw. Class, for this one, greater than is right tail. Okay, so class, this is 0.05 at the center for the t. Why t? This is a sample. That's why it use a t. Okay, this is a sample, sampling. Center is 0, so this is 0.05. Class, this number is very small. 1 times 4, 6 times 10 minus 10. This is a very small number. Class, if you recall correctly, right, this is the one. You draw over here, this is 0.05. Class, this H0 is true, this one H1 is true. Correct or wrong? Correct or wrong? You still remember? This is H0 is true, this is H1 is true. Your p-value is very small, 1.46 times 10 minus 10. This is times 10 minus 10. So this is the probability here, very small. And this is in the H1 zone. So H1 zone meaning this is true. Correct or wrong? So that's what it says here. Okay? Can, Okay, very straightforward. This one, absolutely, those here must understand, Can. So class, I just twist the question a little bit. Okay, I not to create trouble for you, but I just give you another different scenario in case they ask you, can? Okay, class? Okay, class, you look over here, class. The t statistic, is it positive or negative? T statistic, you see the t stats there, positive or negative? Positive, okay, so class, your mu1, is it right tail, is it greater than or less than? It is greater than, greater than is positive. So class, greater than is positive, your t statistic is positive. So your p-value is your p-value. No need to change anything. Correct or wrong? Okay, that's why you use the p-value at it is. Okay? Okay, say again, because your t statistic is positive. Okay, your mu1 is greater, mu1 minus mu2 greater than 0. It is positive because it is right side, right? So it's consistent. So your p-value is your p-value. Class, what happens if we change this question, class? So if we change this question, okay, so class, H0, H1, okay, mu1, okay, the ASUS claim, mu2, the PA claim. Okay, if I change this question, class, so the mu1, is it less than? Lower than, right? So lower than will be less than. Less than mu2, correct or class? Correct? So your mu1 greater than or equal to mu2, correct or wrong? Correct, right? Okay, so for this one is mu1 minus mu2 less than 0. Mu1 minus mu2 greater than or equal to 0. Class, the same thing, alpha is equal to 0.05. Okay, use the put t-test. Okay, put t-test. Okay, so class, the same decision rule. Reject reject H0, sorry. Reject H0 if p-value less than alpha. Class, when you look over here, class, your test statistic, class, is it positive? Okay, so class, you look over here, it's positive, right? Class, you look over here, is it positive or negative? This is right side or left side? Left side. So it is go against the positive, right? So your p-value will be 1 minus p. Okay, remember that. Okay, so it's 1 minus p is equal to 1 minus 1.46 times 10 minus 10. Class, this number is very small or very large? Very small, right? So this number, I don't know what number, it has to be 0.99 something. Correct or wrong? Okay, so is this number less than 0.05? No, it's not. So do you reject H0? You do not reject. Do not reject H0, right? So you accept H0, right? So what is your H0? Your H0 is mu1 greater than mu2. Are they consistent, class? Can? Okay, okay. Most of the time you only need to do this. This is in case they try to be funny, so you're able to do. Can? Okay, can, class? Okay, can. So we go on. Okay, class, the last one is regression line. We will do 2 more questions. We will call it a day. Okay, so class, this is question 4 of your exam. This is a question that you need to do well. Absolutely, again. Let's do this. Okay, identify a fit a linear line. Okay, class, you notice that I will guide you step by step because the answer are step by step. Or can, the answer are step by step. Please follow me. If you don't understand, you follow me, you score full marks also. Okay, can. Okay, but please follow me and understand. Can? Okay, okay, class, but in the class, you have to understand. You cannot follow blindly at your university level. Please follow go to study guide and try to understand the concept. Okay, let's do this. Class multiple linear regression. Most of the time the question will be multiple linear regression. Okay. Okay, the question is quite standard. We'll do 2 questions, we'll call it a day. Okay, and then you should be able to do this question one eye closed also can, I think so. Can. Serious, this question historically don't change. They change a bit only. Okay, so class, this is what you given. Class, you'll be given this in exam. So class, ASUS delivery found the daily travel time in hours, depend on number of deliveries and distance traveled. A multiple regression analysis was conducted. Class, over here, these are the data. So class, you'll be given this data. Class, okay, you'll be given this data. Class, just by looking over here, tell me which one is the dependent variable. There's an independent, there's a dependent. The independent will influence the dependent. Which one is the dependent? Quickly, we have an hour only. Quickly. Sorry, no time here. The y lah. Y, which one? Which one is the y? Y means the y is the dependent, which is output. You have to shout, you all should know. Quickly. Which one is the dependent? 一看就会了。Okay, actually. Okay, class, they also put here x1, x2. So x1 is number of deliveries, x2 is the travel time. What is the only thing that's not inside there? It's the time, right? Or is the time, okay? So the total travel time is the y, okay? 10, okay, so class, we have to do this, okay, class. Describe the linear relationship underlying the data that relate. Class, you need to come out the regression equation, okay? Number 2, you need to state, okay, class, we also need to interpret the coefficient, a standard question. We need to interpret the coefficient. Number B, we need to state the coefficient of determination and adjusted and to say what are the different. This is the standard answer, later I'll show it to you. C, conduct a global test, okay, to investigate whether or not all the independent variable. Class, this one literally tell you is a global test. So we conduct a global test. This is not an individual t-test, right? Okay. So individual t-test will look at the probability. So this is a global test. D, estimate the total travel time for 7 deliveries and 20 kilometer travel. Class, this is also standard. They will ask you to calculate y. Okay, class, can you at least come out the regression equation? Okay, class. Okay, I don't give you a lot of time. I'll give you 4-5 minutes. You do as much as you can. I'll show it to you because I have another question for you. Class, can I erase this one? I can now. Okay, I erase that. Please mark your attendance. I don't know what's the attendance. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, come. You haven't marked? No. Okay, come. Today's session, 26. 26. Okay. Okay, I'm so sorry. I need to continue because I have an additional question for you. So class, let's do this. Class. Okay, so class, when you look at this, so class in exam, you'll be given this. Okay, so this is the regression equation here, class. This is the regression equation here. So class, over here, okay, your y, so y cap is the total travel time, x1 is the number of deliveries, x2 is the distance traveled, kilometer. Class, please put in the unit. So which one? Y cap. Y cap is the predicted y. It's not the actual y, it's the predicted y. Okay, so first, for this one, I just copy minus 0.186 plus, okay, 1.527, okay, x1 plus 0.119 x2. Class, this is the regression equation. Okay, you need to do that. Please define properly. Class, you need to interpret the coefficient. Okay, for every additional delivery, okay, the traveling time will increase by 1.527 hours. Okay, class, for every additional 1 kilometer traveled, okay, the time will increase by 0.119 hours. Okay, so class, this is simple interpretation over here. For every additional delivery x1, the time will increase by 1.527 hours. For every additional distance traveled, your time will increase by 0.119 hours. Okay, so please put the unit. Okay. Okay, so this is what the standard answer. Yes. So class, the next question is this. What is the so class? The coefficient of multiple determination is 0.9390. The adjusted one is below 0.9215. Okay. Class, you need to put this statement. The measured in percentage, the variation in y is explained by variation independent x1 and x2. Standard one, you need to put this thing. Okay, the variation is explained by x1 and x2. Class, this is to explain what's the difference between the coefficient multiple determination and the adjusted. This is the official standard answer. Okay, to account for the potential overuse of unimportant variables, the adjusted R2, R squared, modify the original formula by applying a penalty for including such variables. Okay, you copy and paste, that's the answer. Okay, previously I said the adjusted one adjusts for overfitting of additional independent variable. The explanation is the same. Okay, it is acceptable. Previously I said before, right? What's the difference between adjusted and not adjusted? The adjusted adjusts for overfitting of additional independent variable, but this also explains the same thing. Can? So we just take this as an answer. Can? No need to reinvent. Okay? Can? Okay, yeah. Okay, class, this is an ANOVA, this is the global test. Okay, H1, at least one slope coefficient is non-zero, the level of confidence 0.05. So where do we find the p-value, class? The p-value is this value here, class, significant F, and this is a very small number. Okay, 10 minus 5, if you can see, a very small number. Okay, so this is a global test. Okay, because the question says this, right? Conduct a global test. You're not conducting a individual t-test. You're conducting a global test. individual t-test, we will look at this. Okay? Okay, the question did ask for that. Okay? Class, before we even do anything, the p-value, is it less than 0.05? Both of them, yes. So by right, these two are also significant, but they never ask for it, so don't answer that. Okay, they ask for global test. So global test is this one. Okay, this is -5. Okay, so for this one, the global test is smaller than 0.05. We reject this 0 and accept H1. So in this case, at least one of them is significant. We know they are significant because we run the individual t-test. X1 and X2 are significant, okay, but this is a global test. Sometimes the question after doing the global test, they ask you to do the individual t-test, okay. So class, this is where you put in your X1 and X2 to calculate your Y, okay. This is also a standard question, okay. So the answer given to you, you just need to input. Can class? I know it's too small, cannot see it. Okay, I know it's too small. Okay, I'll upload it. Class, okay, the insurance agent earn commission, okay, is related to the number of months of experience and gender. Okay, the number of months is experience of insurance agent, the gender is male or female. Okay, the dependent variable, okay, is reported in $1,000. Everything multiplied by $1,000, and independent variables are months, okay, experience, and gender is male and female. Class, this is what you're given. Okay, I know it's very small, but I don't know, can you take a picture no? So that later I refer to this figure if you can. Okay, I know it's very small. Okay, if you can. Okay, can took already. I know it's small, but later you refer this for example. Okay, class. Okay, this is the last question. Okay, class, we go to the next one. Okay, describe the relationship between the commissions and the months of experience X1 and X2. Okay, interpret the coefficient. So for this question, it tells you which one is Y, which one is X1 and X2. Class, the next question, estimate female agent earn with experience 11 months. So this asks you to find Y. 3. Execute hypothesis test to determine if independent variable gender should be included in the analysis. Class, is this a global test or individual t-test? Individual t-test. Okay, class, comment on reliability. So class, quite a standard answer. So let's do this. Okay, so this is the last question, class. Okay, class, you look over here. So class, you look over here. This is the regression equation. Oh, this is the regression equation here. So we just need to copy this. Okay, the regression equation. Class, the regression equation is y cat equal to 17.20. Okay, plus 0.4 2x1 plus 5.29 2x2. So class, this is the regression equation. Okay, class. Okay. So class, we need to interpret it. Okay. Okay, if for every 1 month experience increase, for every one month experience increase, okay, the commission will increase by $422. Correct or wrong? Times 1,000, is it? Is it correct? Okay, I just times 1,000. 0.422 times 1,000. Okay, so that's the. Okay, if it's a female, the commission will increase by how much? Wow, female increase the commission so much. 5,900. Okay, with female, the commission will increase by 5,292. Correct? Because this is the number here, 1,000. Correct or wrong? Okay, class. Okay, we do the hypothesis test, H1 and H2. So for this one, I use beta 1 equal to 0. Beta 1 equal to 0, beta 1 not equal to 0. What are we testing? Okay, should the gender, okay, okay, gender is beta 2 lah. I just put beta 2 for this case, class. Okay, so class, reject H0 if p value less than 0. Okay, so for this case, so class, what is the p value here? The p value for gender is 0.0132. Class, is it less than 0.05? Yes. Okay, so we reject H0, and for this case accept H1. So for this one, H1 meaning that the gender is not equal to 0, meaning is significant, right? Is significant. Gender is significant. Correct, wrong? Correct? Can? So these are the only few ways they ask you, global test or individual t-test. Class, another question to ask you is comment on the reliability. Okay, this one is not a trick question, but they might ask you comment on the reliability of this regression. Any comment? Is it reliable? This is the last question we go off with it. Class, you tell me the answer, we go off. Quickly. quickly. Is this reliable or not? Okay, why? Who say no? Why? Quickly. Correct. This is number 1. Observation less than 20. This is sample size too small. It's not reliable. Number 1. Another thing, quickly. What are another observation? Another one. Another one. Quick one. Quite obvious one. Is it? Correct. R square is big or small? Small. 0.58. Not especially huge number. We want it to be 0.7 if we can. Also 0.58 is borderline. Okay. So comment on that. You look at the data. Comment on that. Okay. So class, the trick is this. When he asks you to comment all these things, you look at the assumption. Okay. In the assumption of the regression equation, there are 5 assumptions. Okay, you can always, okay, first look at this data. Anything wrong, comment. Usually look at the sample size. Usually look at the regression coefficient. Usually look at all these standard things. Okay, okay, and class, also look at this. Okay, the p-value. Okay, so if the p-value, a lot of them are dropped out because the p-value is huge, then it is a concern, right? So because you need to take out the independent variable. So these are the things you look at. Class, these two are significant because they are less than 0.05. There are situations where you have more independent variable and some of them are less than 0.05, meaning they are not significant. So that will impact the reliability of your regression as well. So these are the few. And also class, the 5 assumptions of regression equation, okay, they are the linear relationship between the dependent and independent variable. Critique on the assumption if you want to. Always go back on the assumption, okay? I don't know if you recall, but residual homodicity, okay? They are normally distributed, okay? There is no collinearity among the variables, okay? You go back and take a look. We've done this before. Don't worry, okay? Residual are independent. Class, we run the assumption, run the data to show the assumption. Okay, you go back and take a look. So class, this is a typical question. So class, we cover quite a few typical questions. So this one, usually they'll ask you, form the regression equation. They will ask you to interpret the coefficient. They will ask you to find y. They might ask you to do a global test. They also might ask you to do a individual t-test. They will ask you to comment on any observation or concern. So these are the standard questions they ask you. Okay, so class, so we covered all the questions we need to cover. Okay, so class, don't worry so much. Practice the seminar slide questions. Practice the pre-class PDF file. Okay, we have extra questions we practice in class. Look at your GPA. Refer back to the learner's guide as a resource, not to study every single word. Use it as a resource. You can use ChatGPT, you can use whatever to help you to learn. Okay, but in exam you cannot access internet. Okay, learn it outside. You don't inside and learn. Inside and learn is copy. Yeah, that's all. So class, mark the attendance. That's all for me. Thank you for this 6 weeks. Not 6 weeks, more than that. Okay, 6 lessons plus 2 online. All the best to you. Thank you.
Thank you.